Hello guys, welcome to Screen.
Thank you.
So, Saif, you play a cop in Kartavya.
Yes.
The last time I think you donned a police uniform for a Netflix thing, you made history. I think history was made 10 years ago.
I was
for-
part of something that was
Yeah,
great. Yes.
Sacred Games, which was Netflix India's first original. But just kind of to take you back there, do you remember the first time they approached you for that? And because it was still a very new thing for India, and were you kind of apprehensive? What was going through your mind doing that
No,
show?
I wasn't apprehensive at all, actually. I think I remember we were on holiday and somebody was talking on the phone and it kind of came through and I was so excited because, and I couldn't have thought of a better story to have made, like a cop mafia show with those directors and that kind of story. And Netflix had just finished doing Narcos.
Yeah.
Which had become an international kind of phenomenon. And I think we were also hoping that if you can tell an Indian story on a global platform, how cool would that be? And there was no confusion in my mind that I think this will separate completely from television, which for various reasons is a different animal.
Yeah.
And this was great. And it's just, we had the best writers trying to be as clever as possible. Sometimes you worked in setups where people said, will everyone understand? Let's try and bring it down a little bit. But these guys were talking about Vasco da Gama and I don't know. I said, this is great. It's really good fun. And it was somewhere I felt very much at home intellectually. Yeah, really. It was fantastic. It was a really good feeling. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
It was also such a great novel to adapt from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a great story.
Yeah.
Just yesterday in the school library or the other day, Taimur said to me, hey, look, this, he pulled out, he said, that's a big book, because it is a very,
Well, that was Sacred
very,
Games.
yeah, Sacred Games.
But since then you've been a part of the streaming journey from the 2 seasons there to Tandav to Jewel Thief, which was I believe one of the most viewed films on the platform. How have you seen the streaming landscape change over the years? What do you think we should be doing more? What do you think we've achieved?
Gosh, I don't know. Maybe you should come back to me and ask somebody else that question. Let me
Streaming
think.
veterans here.
Yeah.
Streaming veteran.
I mean, it's I don't know. There's so much. I think Netflix should answer that. They really make an effort to promote exciting ideas, and this production, Red Chillies, as well as Netflix, kind of, I don't know how they find exciting directors and exciting stories, and they really back them all the way. And it's a huge responsibility they have to kind of bring things to the people. And what I love about it, though, what I'll say is that it's amazing because you can get a look inside a culture when you see a well-made show from a country. You can watch it in its original language and you can put on subtitles and you really get a feeling of how the world works in different places. And that's what I like best about it. Please ask someone else how it's changed.
Yeah. Would you like to weigh in, either of you?
Well, actually, both Rasika and I were in a series called Powder, which was made for television, and that might actually have been the first television series that actually made the jump from TV into a streaming platform, because it got taken 7 years later, no less.
It was
7
made
years
in
later.
the same format, in a series format.
Well, it was a weekly, so it had 26 episodes, but they crunched it down. I think Netflix UK and put it on the streaming platform, and it became very, very successful.
Yeah.
So I think that was the time, and then Sacred Games came, and that was something that was made for the platform, and the templates started changing, for the better, So it's been wonderful for the last, like you said, 10 years.
I mean, if the concept is to have as good quality as you can create, I don't think the mindset should be that, this is in any way inferior to a big screen movie.
Yeah.
And if you have that, in the writing and in the acting and in the casting and production and everything, which I think Netflix believes in. That is the whole idea.
Yeah.
I think that was the game changer for
Yeah.
Netflix, that we will bring big screen kind of quality of entertainment to the device or whatever, and it'll be an intimate and a really exciting experience. And they've spent money as well, which is the point.
Yeah. And also as nuances
Sorry.
go, I think it's
He's just looking up to me.
it's having something that you're going to watch in your living room with a 8 to 12 feet distance from your television, or sometimes a 6 foot distance from your television. The nuancing has to be really looked at very, very particularly, because on a big screen, the visual sometimes can take over and sort of, a lot of things can, with the soundscape and the size of the visual. But on streaming, I think the stories have to be told more carefully. Yeah.
Rasika, I think streaming has also been a game changer for stories about women and women characters. But I think you said a few years ago that, it's great that now women are speaking the language of men, but men are not speaking the language of women on screen. But do you think that even today that an actor like you has to struggle for parts like that? Parts like, okay, these streaming shows are also kind of, because they're reflecting a reality, so they're all male dominated, they're all patriarchal, but we as women have to also find our spaces somewhere in there.
I mean, I think we as women have always found our spaces somewhere, and I think what one would like is that you don't have to find that space or navigate it or create, or have to fight the world to create that space, and that it should naturally be there. And that's of course the endeavor, and that's of course the desire. When the streaming services did come about, there was a lot of promise for all of us for many reasons. One of it was great content, path-breaking content, new writers, new creators, room for new actors, room for an ensemble cast, and yes, better written parts for women, which would have possibly otherwise been edited out of a film. And to some extent that promise was delivered, because I felt that, in the beginning, when I would hear this chatter around women characters being written in a different way, I was like, is this going to just be another box to check कि feminism के डब्बे पे हमने tick मार दिया और हो गया हमारा काम. And then, you just have characters which kind of, if they are quote unquote strong, then they emulate or are very masculine, or they look like men, and it's not really sort of examining the inner life of a woman or celebrating femininity in any way. But that didn't happen. I think that the writing was nuanced enough to sort of understand the life of a woman. So it was great for a couple of years. I think the beginning years were very good, and like any creative space, the clutter does set in, and there is the good and the bad here also. But I still feel that there's lots of opportunity for different kinds of storytelling to happen. But yes, there is a lot of sort of taking away the other thing. So it's not like अरे streaming में जो भी आता है वो अच्छा है, ऐसा नहीं होता. There's of course the good and bad here also. What I did feel disappointed about though was that I really felt like the streaming services was the answer for an independent film to find a home, because the independent film would never find distribution. I've done many films like that which didn't get, which got two theaters in Bombay and never got an adequate release. That did happen initially. Now I think it's still, the clutter is that much that it's hard for a film which has not been commissioned to find a home. But this film has. So I'm
Also
really,
a film like
really
Sony,
happy
for
about
instance,
that.
which was on Netflix, which is actually one of my all-time favorite films.
Yes.
It is.
That was the initial
that
run.
was the initial time of it.
Saif, do you think that you said that you feel at home intellectually, you felt at home intellectually on Sacred Games.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it also did to you what maybe Omkara did 20 years ago? Because I remember that I was reading an interview where you said that you used to tell your mom that, oh, I'm so excited, I'm going to be shooting in France. And she would tell you,
Did I say that?
will you tell me when will you tell me that you're very excited to play a role? And you said that kind of happened with Omkara. Was that the case?
Though I think there was a time when she said to me that you're not sounding like a very interesting actor. You're not talking to me about, you haven't told me anything, or you have to balance choices and think a little more creatively, something like this. I think there was a time when I was taking things for granted and going a little bit. I mean, it's been a while, so there's been phases. And she saw more potential. And so she was kind of in her way nudging me to wake up a bit, is I think what she meant. So I don't know. I think Sacred Games are very important. Look, when you look back, I don't know, at a career, I mean, not everything is a highlight, but there are some highlights, which is great and good enough. And Omkar is definitely something I'm very proud of and a highlight. And Sacred Games even more so, in a way. So I don't know if there's a connection, but they're both highlights for me. And when you look back and say some bits of work that stand out in shining letters, it would be that.
Like the Pulkit, the director of your film, said that he finds streaming and Netflix his home because he is unshackled by that pressure of box office. You did not have that option in the 90s and early 2000s. So have you also found that kind of relief on streaming?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I don't know if it should be thought of as a relief. I think it's as Rasika was saying, the idea is that there have always been different kinds of filmmakers in the Indian film industry. There's some that are more commercial with the eye on the Friday kind of number, which means that a certain kind of energy is perhaps required and a certain kind of movie maybe even, right? Whatever that is, I don't know. But more artistic scope for different kinds of makers who had no option but to release their film in the theatre in the same way. This is an alternate kind of expression given to many of these people, which I think is a very important thing. And there's certain filmmakers I'd love to work with and certain films to see that maybe, people don't want to take a chance to put them in theatres.
Yeah, true.
And they belong here. But I think even Netflix and the streaming platform wants to do well and to entertain and wants people to watch. So it's always eventually competitive.
Finally, I want to take this moment to ask a bit about the producer, Shah Rukh Khan, the almighty producer. This is your second show with Red Chillies. You said, I think, that you were trying to overcome the shyness you had to go and talk to Shah Rukh Khan. This is from some interview a few years ago.
She's still so shy, she's never spoken to him. She never met him.
I was going to ask, has that changed?
No, I mean, no shyness because I've never met him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't have an opportunity to be shy, but I think I would have been had I. So, yes.
But actually, as a producer, he's not made his presence felt in the movie. And he's given, one of the nice things that many producers do is give a lot of space and scope to the production. And this film has kind of been run by Pulkit. And he's had the space, he's been given the space by Red Chillies and to do that, which I think is really generous of them and not made anyone feel their presence in kind of any way. It's been kind of went off to a place in the Punjab and kind of did this for a month and came back.
That's great. Sorry.
But I mean, no, I mean, obviously but as a production company, the subjects they choose and the people they put together is been very interesting and continues to be, because I believe SRK has a huge love for cinema, and that kind of, we can feel that in his production.
I feel so do you, because I was a huge fan of Illuminati films when it was there. Do you look back at why you kind of gave it away or stopped producing?
Well, we didn't really give it away. Things move, people move, you'll see it all over the place. And Dinesh has gone on to become a wonderful producer. And that is great. So we had our time and I did extremely well out of it as well. And it had a lot to do with what Eros was doing at that time. And it was a wonderful opportunity. And some things are, you know, meant to last for however long they do.
You don't miss being a producer.
I think it can be an extremely thankless job.
Okay.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's very creative. I miss being. I'd like to do that again. The idea of having an idea and discussing
Yeah.
some creatives and some. It was great fun about and getting involved in certain things like the sounds of things and the look of things.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy producing in a way, but it can also be a massive pain.
I'm a huge fan of Arya, and I know that,
Thank you.
and your role in Arya, truly menacing. But I know that it was big in Telugu, which got you a role in Kingdom.
Yeah, it actually became very successful in
Yeah.
Telugu.
So, has Aryan ever told you why he signed you in the Bads of Bollywood? Was it also because of Arya?
No, actually, you know, I've been thinking about that, and I never asked anybody, but I put two and two together, and I think it was Rocket Singh.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
It was actually that got me the part with in Bads, and I have to say I am very thankful to Screen
Yeah.
because that's the first nomination I got from Screen for Rocket Singh. But that apart, I think it's because of Rocket Singh that I got Bads.
And has Bads opened more doors for you after your gig in
Absolutely.
Bads?
Yeah. It's opened a very large large door. Thank God. Yeah.
I'm also glad.